Okay, we're going to go on and get started. I'd like to say good evening to all of our attendees and welcome to our Fall 2025 UMBC Virtual International Information Session. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I am the Assistant Director of Professional Programs at our UMBC main campus here in Catonsville, Maryland. So I'm joined this evening by several of my colleagues who you will hear from throughout the various areas of our session, where we'll be covering things such as an overview of our professional programs, an introduction to UMBC at the universities at Shady Grove, and an overview of our international student processes and general requirements. You'll also have the wonderful opportunity to hear from a current and recent graduate of their testimonials. Then we'll culminate this event with an open and interactive Q&A session. To formally begin, I'd like to share a few facts about UMBC. As our website proudly indicates, the University of Maryland, Baltimore County is a top-ranked national university with an inclusive culture that connects innovative teaching and learning, research across disciplines, and civic engagement. Whatever your passion, you'll find a program that challenges and excites you, as well as a community that supports you. UMBC maintains our commitment to diversity and social justice throughout many forms. The chart you're seeing details the background of our graduate student population, and you will see that we do have a large international community that we wholeheartedly embrace. Please keep in mind, you will receive a copy of these slides, so you'll be able to delve a little bit more into the chart and other fascinating facts that you'll see throughout this presentation. We have two locations that serve our UMBC students and faculty staff community. We have our main Catonsville campus, of which I am currently here and a part of, and then we have USG, which you'll hear more from in a few minutes from my wonderful colleague, Chelsea. As previously mentioned, alongside our top ranking as a national university, it's worthwhile to note our research and our learning communities. According to the NSF, UMBC ranks among the country's top 100 public universities in federal research support, number 15 in NASA funding, and number 30 in federal funding for the social sciences. Also, our latest U.S. News Best Graduate School rankings included several of our UMBC graduate programs as among the best in the nation, and they ranked UMBC as number 12 in the nation for undergraduate teaching. So we definitely have a strong undergrad that even prepares people for the graduate school and the graduate programs that we're speaking about today. And that is a beautiful glance at our main campus in Catonsville. You'll get a glance at our Shady Grove offerings as well in a few minutes. Transitioning a bit into our academic areas, let's talk about professional programs here at main campus and what they can mean to you as a student. Among our many key points, I'd like to specifically highlight the following. Professional programs are programs that help prepare students for careers in specific fields. Accordingly, our curriculum focuses on the skill set that employers indicate are required to legally practice in their field and/or are important and vital to excel in the workplace. Many of our students are also working professionals, so it's important to us that we provide convenient evening and hybrid courses. And to clarify, hybrid courses are a mix of in-person and remote participation. With our small class sizes, you'll not only have more direct access with the faculty, but it also allows support towards an overall work-school life balance. Speaking of direct access with faculty, our classes are taught by industry experts, which allows for a relevant classroom experience as well as valuable networking opportunities, both as a current student and gearing towards your future as an alumni. Many times people ask, what is the difference between an MS and an MPS degree? While there are various and vast definitions, to provide a very simplified one, an MS is generally more research focused and based in scientific theories. An MPS is generally designed for working professionals with a focus on real world applications and skill development that can immediately be applied once you enter the workplace, i.e., once getting hired, you'll already have many of the skill set right away once you enter your job that first day. Now, this does not mean that an MPS does not explore scientific approaches like a MS and vice versa. There are various exchanges between the two, but again, those definitions I just provided give the general difference between the two. Within our main campus's Division of Professional Studies, we currently have 10 master's degree programs and over 20 graduate level certificate programs. You're now seeing on screen a snapshot of many of those offerings. And again, I'm speaking mostly about our main campus offerings. We do have some of these that overlap with Shady Grove. And transitioning into that wonderful thing that I just said, next slide. At this time, I'd like to welcome my wonderful colleague, Chelsea Moyer, who will provide an introduction and an overview of UMBC at the universities at Shady Grove. Chelsea.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chelsea Moyer. I serve as the Associate Vice Provost of Academic Partnerships here at UMBC. And one of my primary roles and responsibilities, along with my team of folks here on site at the universities at Shady Grove, is to oversee our UMBC Shady Grove operations. So we are thrilled that you're here with us, and I'm so happy to provide some additional context, as Stephanie noted, on our UMBC Shady Grove location. All right, next slide, Chris, thank you. Alrighty, so UMBC at the universities at Shady Grove is a unique setup. So something I want to make sure that all of our international students are aware of is that, as Stephanie noted, there are two different campuses that we're addressing today. Our home campus, main campus, Catonsville campus, you'll hear it referred to in a variety of different forms and formats, is located in Catonsville, Maryland, so in Baltimore County. Our second campus location, UMBC at the universities at Shady Grove, is located in Rockville, Maryland. That's in Montgomery County, Maryland. We're a bit unique in that the universities at Shady Grove, you'll often hear me refer to it as USG for short, is what's called a regional higher education center in the state of Maryland. And what that means is that it's one campus where 9 different University System of Maryland institutions are present. Amongst those 9 schools or universities, there are over 80 degree programs that are provided right here on site. Some of those degree programs are baccalaureate or bachelor degree programs. Many of those programs are graduate programs, master's programs. But the neat thing about this setup is that you literally have 9 different institutions on one convenient campus here in Rockville, Maryland, which is located a bit closer to DC than our Catonsville campus. So the universities at Shady Grove is about 18 miles from Washington, DC. We are technically located on what's called the I-270. That's the name of one of our local interstates, the I-270 Technology Corridor. Essentially what that means is location is huge for us. We are surrounded by lots of robust local regional industry, biotech companies, human resource companies, business enterprise. There are lots of opportunities both here in Montgomery County and certainly in Baltimore County, where our home campus is located, to find applied learning experiences, internships, ultimately to obtain jobs and careers. We know that that's the goal once you complete your degree. I do want to make it clear that we are located about 4 miles from what's known as the Shady Grove Metro stop. So Metro is the public transportation system. There is a Metro stop that's, again, 4 miles from campus, fairly close, and a bus transit system that transports students from the Shady Grove Metro directly to the universities at Shady Grove campus. We are a full-service non-residential campus on site. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means in a few minutes, but I do want everyone to be aware that unlike Cadensville, our Cadensville campus, where there is on-campus housing, predominantly for undergraduate students, here at the University at Shady Grove, all students who are completing degrees are commuter students. So students live locally, regionally, off-site. There are no dorms located on the university's at Shady Grove campus. So just to give you a sense of the different institutions that are represented at the universities at Shady Grove, I wanted to include this slide. Some of you may have heard of these other institutions like Towson, University of Maryland, Baltimore, University of Maryland, College Park. All of these schools are part of what's identified as the University System of Maryland, including UMBC. So again, UMBC has a very strong presence at the universities at Shady Grove. So you heard me mention earlier that the universities at Shady Grove, USG, is a full service campus. So this slide just provides you a highlight of some of the service centers that are available to all students, both undergraduate, graduate, across the 9 institutions here at USG. Most of these services are really focused on career readiness and ensuring that students in programs at USG are developing career competencies and preparing for the workforce, again, once you graduate with your degree. But just to give you a quick, brief highlight of some of these service centers, all students who are completing coursework through an institution at USG have access to the Center for Counseling and Wellbeing. This is huge. This is a free service. Any student who wants to take advantage of individualized, personalized counseling, couples counseling, group therapy, mindfulness techniques. We know all of you, when you're in school, are balancing all sorts of responsibilities, and that can be stressful. So the Center for Counseling and Wellbeing has a mindfulness center. You can take a break from classes, pop into the center. They've got water fountains and nice sounds and ambiance. Or again, you can work with any of the therapists on site if you would want to take advantage of that resource. Another center on site that I want to highlight is the USG Center for Scholarships. This is huge. While all students at the universities at Shady Grove are able to apply to scholarships at their home institution. So as international students, you are eligible to apply for UMBC merit-based scholarships, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. If you happen to be a UMBC at Shady Grove student, you can also, in addition, apply to the USG scholarship application. So one of the benefits of being a student at UMBC Shady Grove is that you have access to not only the resources at Cadensville, like the scholarship opportunities that are available there, you also have additional access to scholarship opportunities available through the universities at Shady Grove. I'm going to skip ahead here. Macklin Center for Academic and Leadership Success is really focused, think about that as your academic success center, on tutoring and providing academic support for students who may have accommodations and need quiet testing space, etc. This is the center where you would go to access those resources. And then the last bullet point here, Hire You, is a special program that the universities at Shady Grove offers to all students, where you can participate again in that career competency development, setting goals for yourself in terms of perhaps you want to develop as a leader, or perhaps you want to develop stronger communication skills. There are certain events that are offered throughout the year through Hire You that allow you to really focus in and develop those career competencies and those skills that you'd like to invest in. Okay, so a couple quick points I want to note here. We often get this question from students. Chelsea, is my degree going to have an asterisk, and is it going to note the universities at Shady Grove? The answer is no. If you choose to complete a degree through UMBC at Shady Grove, you are going to be earning a true, authentic UMBC degree. There's not going to be any mention of the universities at Shady Grove, no asterisk, no byline. It's a true UMBC degree. Many of our faculty who teach down here in Rockville also teach at the Cadensville campus and vice versa. One of the things I do like to note is that at the universities at Shady Grove, course sharing is available. Again, you heard me note that there are 8 other institutions in addition to UMBC that offer coursework on site. So Perhaps you are a student in our MPS and data science program, and you see a course that's being offered through the University of Maryland, Baltimore Pharmaceutical Sciences program that looks interesting to you. You can work with your academic advisor in the data science program here at UMBC, get approval, and you could potentially take a course or two through UMB's Pharmaceutical Sciences program through what we call interinstitutional registration. The vast majority of your coursework, of course, will be completed through UMBC because you're working to earn a true, authentic UMBC degree. But the nice thing is, again, you can supplement some of those courses, elective coursework, with courses from other institutions if you so choose. And again, I want to stress you'd be working closely with your program director and academic advisor to pursue those interests. Here at UMBC Shady Grove, there are centralized resources and support. You heard me mention our shared service centers. Me and my team, we are also here to provide support to students across all of our programs. The idea is if you're choosing to complete a degree program here in Rockville through USG, you will have everything you need right on site. You absolutely are more than welcome to travel to the Catonsville campus to access additional resources. But everything you need should be accessible right here at the universities at Shady Grove, so you're not mandated to go to the Catonsville campus. Tuition, the tuition is the same across both campuses. I often get questions about that. So whether you're taking courses at Catonsville or Shady Grove, tuition is the same. Our fee structure is slightly different and a little bit less expensive at the universities at Shady Grove. The reason that's the case is because we don't offer athletics and some of those other addendum services that are offered at UMBC Catonsville. So it reduces the fee cost just a bit for UMBC Shady Grove students. And you heard me mention earlier that, again, there are unique scholarship opportunities open to UMBC Shady Grove students specifically. Alrighty, so just to give you a sense of the degree offerings that are available through UMBC Shady Grove, I recognize all of you are here to pursue graduate degrees, but I did want you to be aware of the plethora of undergraduate degrees that we also provide on site. Our 4 graduate degrees that we offer, you'll see Stephanie again mentioned the Master of Professional Studies. So most of our degrees, graduate degrees we offer on site are MPS degrees, MPS in Biotech, MPS in Data Science, MPS in Industrial Organizational Psychology. We also offer cybersecurity, which happens to be an MS. And again, Stephanie provided a little bit of context on the difference of those 2 degree options. I do want to note that the MS in cybersecurity and the MPS in data science are what we call shared programs. So those are 2 programs that are available both at UMBC Shady Grove and UMBC Catonsville. Same program, same curriculum. You just get to choose which location is of preference to you. That said, the MPS in biotechnology and the MPS in industrial organizational psychology are offered explicitly and solely at the universities at Shady Grove locations. So if you're interested in either of those 2 programs, you would have to complete your coursework here in Rockville, Maryland, again, through the universities at Shady Grove. And then we too offer a variety of post-baccalaureate certificates. These are generally 12 credits, approximately 4 courses each, that can supplement your graduate degree or service and on road to the graduate degree. I will note for international students, you do have to be enrolled in an MPS, a true master's program. You can add a post-baccalaureate certificate, but you can't just pursue the post-baccalaureate certificate unto itself. You do have to be enrolled in a full master's degree program. And as I close out here, I just want to note, again, Stephanie referenced this in her welcome. We are a true, inclusive, diverse community. We value the very different lived experiences of our students, both at UMBC Catonsville and UMBC Shady Grove. And our Retriever pride and community building is a big part of who we are and what we do. So I just want to make you aware that if you would choose to, again, pursue an academic program through UMBC at Shady Grove, we have an official UMBC Shady Grove Welcome Center on site that's staffed by student workers. who are there to assist, guide, serve as liaisons, connect you with appropriate resources. And we offer a variety of events throughout each of the semesters. We call them our Retriever Pride events. Sometimes we've called them our Welcome Back events. This year, this fall, we're doing a combined alumni and current student event in October that builds on UMBC's homecoming. So there's going to be lots of opportunities for you as students to engage, make connections, and hopefully develop that sense of belonging and community through UMBC. And this just reiterates two websites. So UMBC at the University at Shady Grove, shadygrove.umbc.edu is our UMBC Shady Grove website. That'll be a website you're visiting quite a bit if you're looking at any of the degree programs offered through UMBC Shady Grove. The second URL under the Universities at Shady Grove block, shadygrove.umd.edu, is the website for the universities at Shady Grove overall. Remember, I mentioned those 9 institutions. There's a separate website for the universities at Shady Grove that goes into a bit more detail about some of those service centers I mentioned earlier, the Center for Counseling and Wellbeing, Higher U, et cetera. So just be mindful that when you're thinking about UMBC at the universities at Shady Grove, there are 2 different websites that you'll want to consider visiting, in addition to UMBC's overall website, which of course is simply umbc.edu. Alrighty, so without further ado, I want to take a quick moment to introduce you all to one of our current data science students, Veronica. You are going to hear from Veronica first, and she will be followed by Shashank, a recent alum from our Master Professional Studies in Biotechnology program offered at UMBC Shady Grove. So Veronica, I am going to hand it over to you, and I think Chris is going to stop sharing here so you can actually see Veronica. There she is. Perfect. All right, so take it away, Veronica.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Veronica Bussa, and I'm from India. I am currently enrolled in the Master of Professional Studies and Data Science, and I'll be graduating in May 2026. And I've worked for about a year back in India at Deloitte. That's where I first got introduced to machine learning, and it really sparked my interest in data science. That's when I decided that this is something that I want to pursue. And I chose UMBC for my graduate studies because the program's curriculum and electives closely align with my career goals. And UMBC is also a top-tier urban research university with a strong national ranking. And since it is a professional studies program, our lecturers are currently employed in the current industry. They share valuable professional insights, and they make sure that we have hands-on learning. So that is something that caught my eye. And another thing I really value that is the wide range of support that UMBC provides for graduate students, like from career advising. They even help us with building our resumes and writing support to well-being resources and everything. And they have a great recreational area, and they have like career fairs, professional development programs and everything. These are something that I got to know from one of the information sessions that I attended myself. And adjusting to life in the US obviously took some time for me, especially getting used to the climate and culture here. But I really found people to be very inclusive and welcoming over here, which made it a bit more easier. And one of the things that really made the transition smoother for me at UMBC was the UMBC's transit system. The shuttle covers like multiple routes, so we can like easily get to supermarkets, banks, the downtown, malls, and even the train station. So it made getting around easy for us. I live off campus, and I actually found my place through one of the UMBC student groups, which was super helpful for me. And the shuttle makes commuting easy to the campus since we stay off campus, and most of the essentials like supermarkets and pharmacies are very nearby. And another small but very helpful thing that was done initially was the free SIM card provided by the ISSS office. ISSS office is is the office for the international students. So when we first arrived here, they gave us like a free SIM card, which worked for like a month. Having access to like data and calls right away made those first few weeks easier. So I've discovered like more on-campus resources that have been very supportive in my journey till now. So currently I'm working as an IT assistant here at UMBC. In this role, I help department staff with IT related queries, work on small projects, and like support ongoing technical needs and everything. So I found this opportunity through Handshake, which is a platform that UMBC uses to post jobs for the students. So yeah, and looking ahead, my goal is to become a data scientist. This is a field where there's always something new to learn. And in next few years, I see myself building more expertise in this field and contributing to more projects. So yes, thank you so much for listening to me. With that, I'll pass it on to Shashank now.
Hello everyone, my name is Shashank Bhagwatala and I have graduated recently from NPS Industrial Biotechnology program. I started out in research, but I wanted to move to an industry where I could contribute to the real world applications. This program was the ideal first step. It not only introduced me to manufacturing and regulatory aspects, but also gave me and also the invaluable support through professors and networking events, which really helped me build confidence and connections. I've also served as a graduate teaching assistant for the same course, which deepened my understanding and let me support fellow students. Today, I'm working as an associate scientist at Low Bio, supporting development and manufacturing of P1 plasma separator. The knowledge and the experience I've gained at UMBC were key in helping me make the transition from research to industry. So looking back, I'm grateful that I chose this program. It really helped me make the transition from research to industry. And thank you so much. I wish a warm welcome to everyone. Hope you get what you actually are aiming for through this program. And there are many resources that are available at the university, and also everyone is so helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you both, Veronica and Shashank. While Chris is resharing the slideshow, I just want to reiterate that, again, Veronica is a current student in our UMBC Cadenceville campus in Baltimore County. And again, Shashank is coming from the perspective of a former UMBC Shady Grove student in Rockville, Maryland. So we wanted to give you slightly different perspectives given the campus location and differences there within. Okay, and you will have an opportunity, just as a reminder, at the end of this session, we're going to host an open Q&A. So both Veronica and Shashank, I know, will be happy to answer any questions that you may have for them. All righty. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Samantha Salvatore, who you can see here from the slide, serves as the Assistant Director of International Recruitment within UMBC Center for Global Engagement. So Samantha, I'll hand it over to you.
Hello, thank you so much, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of our, we'll call you future students on our call today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us to learn about UMBC across both of our campuses and the opportunities available to you. As Chelsea said, my name is Samantha. I am our Assistant Director of International Recruitment, located within the Center for Global Engagement. And over the next few minutes, I will share kind of a little bit more about who we are in CGE and how we support you as international students. So the Center for Global Engagement is kind of our main one-stop shop to support international students. So while, of course, you will interact with the admissions offices, with your faculty, with your classmates, with many different offices across campus, CGE and our sub-teams really exist to support the unique needs of you as international students, particularly those on F1 visas. So throughout the year, we provide activities, services, immigration advising primarily for the purposes of today's call, international students, but also study abroad students, international faculty, research, and scholars. Within CGE, there are 4 teams: the team of international student recruitment and global partnerships, the International Student and Scholar Services, or often called ISSS or OISS, Education Abroad and Global Learning, and the English Language Institute and Special Programs. As international students enrolled at UMBC, or throughout your admissions journey and then through your time as a student, you will most closely interact with our international student recruitment team, where I lead many of our activities, as well as our ISSS office. International student recruitment is here to support you as prospective international students through doing webinars like this, answering inquiries, doing outreach. We travel for recruitment, so perhaps in the future I will have the chance to meet you in person in your home country. We also organize our global ambassador team, which I will talk a little bit more about later on, and then help you through that initial F1 visa process. We know, especially in the last couple of years, as you are considering studying in the United States, there's some uncertainty or some policy changes regarding visa processes. So we are really here to help support you through your initial F1 visa issuance process. And then our ISSS team supports you to maintain that status throughout your time as a student. And then finally, our last main interaction with you as ISR is to provide you pre-arrival orientation. So if you do choose to apply and are admitted, we host a variety of webinars just like this on many different helpful topics to help you prepare to be a student in the US. Everything from understanding how to enroll, preparing for that visa process, how to choose classes, how to connect with faculty, understanding what it's like to live in the Baltimore area, whether that be on that Rockville Shady Grove campus or on our Catonsville campus. Once you join us on campus as a current student, you will interact regularly with our ISSS office. They are here to support you as current students with orientation, with employment authorization when you're getting ready to do internships or work after you graduate on OPT or STEM OPT, and then providing miscellaneous services, as Veronica mentioned, like SIM cards, that orientation, cultural events and activities throughout the year to really help you feel connected and engaged as part of our international student community on campus. And then often what is seen as the first role, and certainly one of the most important of our ISSS office in CGE, is helping you maintain that immigration compliance. So making sure you understand and providing all of the necessary support to maintain your F1 student visa status. Next slide, please. So just briefly giving you an overview of what this visa process looks like. I won't talk about it in depth today, but just so you understand as you are considering studying in the States, these are all of the steps required from when you are first thinking about applying to the university, all the way through your admission, that visa interview, and then eventually entering the US and joining us on campus. Next slide, please. Most specifically, our team here within international student recruitment, with some support from ISSS, will focus on these first 3 steps. So applying for admission at the university, hopefully you will come away from the webinar today with lots of information about how to do that. And then after you are offered admission, that initiates really those first steps to request the I-20 document, which is the formal immigration document that allows you to apply for an F1 student visa. And part of that includes submitting financial documentation. Next slide, please. Within CGE, our international student recruitment and ISSS teams are here to support you throughout that student visa process. And my #1 top tip as you're thinking about studying in the US, perhaps sometime in 2026 or beyond, is to start early. Really, the first step for success is that you must apply for admission. The visa process does not fully start until after you have been offered for admission. So my best tip is always think ahead, make a plan. As you're doing your research, deciding where to apply, first you need to apply, Typically, the earlier you apply, there's a higher chance that you're going to get that admission a little bit earlier and then can start those further steps. And as we saw, there's quite a few throughout the visa process. Really, the first official step to that visa process is requesting that I-20, which is done after receiving an admissions decision. In the future, as future admitted students, we hope you will join us for one of our in-depth webinars for admitted students, where we talk in great detail about the entire student visa process, including all of the details about what documentation we need, how to prepare for a student visa interview. And you can hear from some of our current students as well about what their experiences with that visa process is like. I will reiterate again that our team here within CGE is here to help you be informed, to help you feel knowledgeable and supported throughout your entire process and time as an international student. So if you have concerns, you have questions that come to mind right away, we are happy to answer them today. But we will also be available to you in the next several months or perhaps years as future and current students. Next slide, please. One thing to be aware of is that as part of the student visa process, you are required to show financial documentation for at least 1 year of funding. So 1 year of readily available funding to receive that Form I-20. This estimated cost of attendance that I'm showing on screen is for master's programs on our Catonsville campus. So this could vary depending on what campus you're on, if you are not in one of those master's programs. But just to give you an example of an estimated cost of attendance, our tuition for the coming year is just over $27,000 with estimated living costs and other costs. The estimated cost that you would need to show in readily available funding to receive an I-20 is just over $51,000. So one thing to keep in mind as you're making this plan starting early and starting to think is starting to make a plan for that funding. Often for graduate level students, things like scholarships are much less available. We do not have a singular admissions-based international student scholarship at the graduate level. So typically the only form of funding support would be in the form of those graduate assistantships. These come with additional responsibilities such as teaching, research, or perhaps administrative work. These are very beneficial. They come with that funding support, such as tuition remission or a tuition discount, and often with hourly pay or a living stipend on top of that. However, they are extremely competitive and vary by department. Some departments do have no graduate assistantships, some only have a couple a year. The availability of graduate assistantships varies year to year. And at the master's level, generally, many students do not successfully receive those graduate assistant offers, in my experience, until their second semester on campus, when they have more of that relationship with faculty and they understand more what those positions entail. So it's good to be aware that there is potentially some funding support available through those graduate assistantships. But from an immigration perspective, we always recommend that as you are thinking, as you're preparing to make a plan, that you are prepared to show your own liquid funding for that I-20 cost. As it is the time of year where we know you are preparing to apply for future terms, it's the busiest time of year in terms of recruitment for next year's application cycle. I wanted to highlight that our team here in CGE will be traveling. So if you are living or located in India or Vietnam, in one of the cities located on screen, I would love to meet you, to meet your family, to take you out to dinner, to buy you coffee. I am traveling at the end of the week. I leave to head to Hyderabad and spend several weeks in India and then a little bit of time in Vietnam. If you are in one of these locations, would love to connect, please send me an email. My email is here on screen and I will drop it in the chat later on as well. And we can coordinate to set a meeting time. Next slide, please. In the future, some other ways, as I mentioned, that you will connect with CGE include with our international student recruitment team with those I-20 requests, as an admitted student for a variety of admitted student webinars, And then if you perhaps are working with an agent or an educational consultancy throughout your admissions process as they support you, they are also able to reach out to us directly for some additional assistance. And then with the ISSS team, the best way to connect with them is typically when you have a unique or complicated immigration situation, or if you're transferring in the future from another institution. For recruitment, inquiry, application assistance related requests, I would request you reach out to our team in student recruitment. ISSS, if you have one of those unique or complicated situations, you could submit a ticket to them on our website. And then finally, we want to highlight that you have the ability after today to connect again with some of our current students. While it was great to hear from Veronica and Shashank today to hear about their experiences as a current student and an alumni of these DPS, OPP, and Shady Grove programs, you have the ability to chat with any of our global ambassadors. We will soon have a team of 12 students from a variety of countries and in various programs who are available to chat on our website, to set up meetings, and who do participate in all of our recruitment webinars as well. So if you're interested in asking questions beyond today to our current students about housing or clubs and organizations, life on campus, you can connect with them directly on our website, which is listed here on screen. And then finally, from there, we would love to open up to any questions that our prospective and future students in the audience have about anything you heard today, any clarification we can provide, any doubts that you still have. I think perhaps the best way might be to type in the chat those questions, and whoever is most appropriate will answer them from our panel.
Okay, and thank you so much, Samantha. As Samantha noted, you're welcome to use the chat function to place a question, or you're welcome to unmute and ask a question. Joseph, I see you have your hand raised, so please feel free to go ahead and ask.
It's a great pleasure for me to join you guys on this particular meeting today. I am Joseph Nyake Mosima from Sierra Leone, from the capital city of Sierra Leone, West Africa. I have a bachelor's degree in natural resources management, and then for quite too long I've been yearning to have a graduate master's degree from UMBC, either in GIS, Geological Information Systems, or data sciences. Yeah, but I have faced so many challenges. One, I have tried to get a supervisor that will supervise me throughout my master's thesis or research work, but I have tried so many times, but to no avail. Okay, then now admission, the admission portal. I may want to get the actual admission portal, and then requirement. What are the requirements for me? Because my first degree was in English. My country, we speak English here. English is our language. In Sierra Leone, West Africa, English is our language. But I've seen so many English language test paper requesting for I don't know, IELTS to fill documents which I don't have, and because it is costly here to sit that particular exam here in my country. It is so costly for you to go and pay to sit that English test exams. Okay, so and then again, the financial status. Africa, Africa is a low income continent. Yeah, and then I am working as an environmental officer, but my salary will not able to pay my I don't want to lie. My salary will not able to pay my tuition fee in the United States unless I have scholarship. I have the zeal, I have the passion to learn more, to gain more knowledge from USA, more in terms of knowledge, because I've been following UMBC University in Baltimore, Maryland for quite a long time. it has been my favorite university to study. Yes, because of your research work, because of your there's so many opportunities that you have that you offer to international students. Yeah, but I may want to get a scholarship, an international scholarship as well. That's one. And then supervisor as to how I have to go about my admission, my submitting my admission, my research, the proposal, and that of the scholarship. Yes. So those areas are my issues that I have that I'm facing currently. Thank you all.
Joseph, thank you so much for the introduction and background. Really, really appreciate and value your enthusiasm about UMBC. So thank you for joining us this evening. I'll try to keep this brief, and because I know you brought a number of questions and concerns to the table. So you had initially expressed an interest in the Geographic Information Systems program, which is a Master's of Professional Studies program offered through our UMBC Cadenceville location. Each student who is working through the application process has a team of folks within our division who is readily able and happy to help you with the admissions process. So I just want to make you aware of that should you indicate interest in applying to one of our programs, ultimately you'll be connected with one of the staff members from the Office of Professional Programs team who will walk you through and help to assist you with the variety of application pieces. You'll also have, of course, a program director, and we're hosting another event in February. You'll hear about that in just a few minutes, where you'll have the opportunity to meet program directors directing programs of interest that you'd like to apply to. So any of those curricular questions, areas of focus from a degree standpoint, they're really going to be your best point of resource or reference, I should say. The financial concerns, very legitimate, and we hear you. I do want to make sure that I sort of echo the information that Samantha shared. When it comes to the financial piece, there are options, right? We want to make sure international students know there are options. However, in all transparency, the financial support pieces, be it scholarship opportunities, they're there. Again, I spoke to scholarship opportunities that are specific to UMBC Shady Grove. They're there. There are also graduate teaching assistantships, but again, very, very competitive, limited. And this is where you forming a connection relationship with the graduate program director who oversees your program of interest will be important early on, right? Because then you can start having a better sense of what your options are. Does your program of interest, GIS, even have graduate teaching assistantships? These are the types of pieces of information you're going to want to start puzzling together as you think about potentially starting a program at UMBC. So I'll stop there. I'm sure you have plenty of other detailed questions, and we'll be sure, Joseph, to share our contact information at the very end so we can get you connected with folks who can help you with next steps. But hopefully that helps to provide a little bit of context. And my colleague Stephanie may have some additional insight from her perspective to share as well.
Actually, you did handle most of those questions. Thank you, Chelsea. I think the only other thing I'd say is I heard your concerns, Joseph, about the IELTS and any other kind of testing. Fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, it's just a requirement that we have to have that type of thing. If there's any type of wavering of it, meaning English is your first language, you can reach out to Samantha and her team to verify if there's a possibility of you being waived of that language requirement exam. However, majority of our students would need to take that, and there's not too many ways that we can go about that. That's not really a UMBC type of requirement. We have some requirements within that, but those are more of the things that we have to ensure that all of our students are doing. So again, that's not as though there's some assistance towards that. Reach out to Samantha and her team if you have questions about that, but also on our actual professional programs website, which again, you will have a access to the link on our page here, you'll be able to see the actual scores and requirements for not only the IELTS, but any of the other tests, because we accept 3 to 4 different types of tests to satisfy that English language requirement. So while that may not be everything you want to hear or the type of response you want to, I always want to, and all of us always want to give you very transparent and honest answers that not only apply to UMBC, but majority of the other universities you're likely going to be looking at.
And I do just
All
want
right.
to hop in here regarding that same question, Joseph, that Sierra Leone is on our list as one of the countries that does qualify for an English language test waiver. So I will drop, for the sake of all students in the chat, I will drop the link to the full test waiver policy. Echoing what Stephanie said, the vast majority of our students are required to submit an English language proficiency test. But Sierra Leone, knowing it's an English speaking country, we will see that your education was in English, and that does qualify for that test waiver.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Thank you so much, the team. I'm so excited to be with you guys today, and I've learned a lot. Please, I may want to, to have the networking to people that I may contact directly in terms of assistance when I start my applications. Yeah, like Stephanie, Chelsea, I may want to get your, contact or my director, the school that I will be trying to apply to, the director's either email, contact, or you connect me to whoever so far I may, feel comfortable to work with that individual to do my application, submit everything. Please, thank you all. Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm so excited to be with you. So happy.
Well, Joseph, that makes us feel good. That's one of the many reasons we do these types of events / sessions. So thank you for your comments. We see we've got another couple of hands raised up. Joseph, make sure to put your hand signal down because I'll keep calling on you. You have been great. So make sure to put that one down so I can make sure I'm calling on the right people. I did want to say before I get to the next person, and again, please continue to ask your questions, but we did have another question. I also, if you're not comfortable with putting your question in the general chat, you can reach out behind the scenes, and I have one of those questions that I do believe will be for Samantha. And it says, what if I was declined a visa?
It's a great question. And I know visas are certainly something I think on everybody's mind right now as international students. I will highlight at the beginning that if you have previously applied for a visa, a student visa, that is not necessarily, or there's no guarantee that you will be denied in the future, but at the same time, there's no guarantee that you will be approved in the future. Visas are something that are ultimately decided by the Department of State. What we can do as a university, as you are applying for a student visa, we of course help support you throughout the admissions process. We support you in getting all of the documentation needed to apply for that F1 student visa. If you have been denied previously for an F1 student visa, you can reapply and attend a secondary interview. My recommendation that I hear from visa officers in embassies and consulates around the world is if you have previously applied for a student visa and been denied, that when you go back for a second or third or future interview, that something about your situation should have changed. So perhaps that is financials perhaps that is future plans, perhaps that is ties to your home country. Typically, if you go back to a secondary interview and your answers are exactly the same, absolutely nothing has changed, it is difficult for that visa officer to approve you. However, there is no restriction on reapplying for a visa in the future. So it's kind of a situation where it varies by student, it varies by case, it varies by country that you're in. The best advice that I can give, of course, is again, to start that F1 process, you first have to apply for admission. So we always recommend you go through that admissions process and then connect further with our team in international student recruitment, or if you have a very unique situation, ISSS, and we can provide more customized support on preparing for that secondary visa interview in the future.
Okay, I believe one of the first hands I saw, and please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Abu.
So if I understand your question correctly, and you are a little bit inaudible. But what I understood is that you said that your previous degrees, and you have both an undergraduate and an existing postgraduate master's level degree in a business background, and you're inquiring whether like change of stream essentially is allowed into an engineering major. Is that correct? What your question was?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and take this question and I'll answer it a little bit generally, is that the best place to check admissions criteria for each of our programs, because at the graduate level, the admissions criteria do vary by program, including things like prerequisites, what type of previous experience is allowed, is on our website, and we will show that on screen on a slide as we close out in just a few moments. So I would recommend that you check the engineering website. Often in my experience, and I don't know all of the criteria for the engineering program off the top of my head, but often there are recommendations for prerequisites or previous experience for some of our majors, but that is not true of all of them. So I would recommend you check all of the admissions criteria on the website for clarification on the exact program that you want. We also have several different engineering specialties, and they do, the requirements even across those specialties do vary. So I would recommend checking our website, deciding which specialty you want to land on, and all of the detailed admissions criteria, including whether they accept change of stream or not, will be listed on that website.
And Samantha, I think we have one last question here from Joseph in chat. Can I apply for a student visa prior to my graduate admission application, or do I need to be admitted to UMBC first before applying for a student visa?
Yes, great question. You must be admitted first. So we cannot issue that I-20 to start that immigration process until you have received an offer of admission from the university. So that's why I say really the first step of the visa process is applying for admission. So you must apply. We always recommend applying early, making that plan early, because we do know the visa process can take a little bit of time. But we are here again to support you. We can help navigate that process because it does vary by country. But yes, you must apply for admission and be offered admission before we can formally begin that immigration visa process.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Just
Yes.
I would like to have one question, please. Just recently, I got one I-20 from the West Cliff University as a master's in cybersecurity. I am origin from the Bangladesh, but currently I am working have been the Equatorial Guinea. Is a West African country. Is named Equatorial Guinea. So I have been faced in the interview in the US Embassy. So that same day I had another one appointment in the Bangladesh. So when I was in the in front of the ambassador, in front of the visa officer, that time he asking if you had the another one visa schedule in the Bangladesh. So he asking this question, and I say yes. So that's the moment he stopped my visa interview, and he said that you can apply for the next. So my question is now, if I enroll again another admission in the UMBC, and as early as possible, if I face the same US Embassy in Equatorial Guinea, Malabo, so if anyone have any experience, is there have any problem or something else? Because my concerning is that if the short time period, I can able to face another interview in the same embassy.
Yes, thank you for your question. That is a little bit of a unique situation. In general, I will say the current State Department policy is that you are able to attend a visa interview at any U.S. embassy or consulate. That said, generally I have been told by consular officers that students have the highest chance for approval of a student visa when they interview in their home country. So it is allowed to interview at whatever your localist U.S. embassy or consulate is. So if you are currently living in Equatorial Guinea, you should based on the current policy, you are able to attend a student visa interview in Equatorial Guinea. But just often they provide a little bit of additional scrutiny to visa applications or to visa interviews to nationals outside of their home country. So just be aware of that they might ask your questions, additional questions, or have additional inquiries about that. But again, based on the current policy, you are allowed to interview in whatever country that you are currently in.
Thank you. My main concern was the very short time. Say, for example, last interview was the 28 August. Say, if now I go with another university, and as I want to my plan for the fall 2025 session, so is it very near and very short? So this short time, they will make any other refusal, or they will make any other question. So this is what is the possibility of getting the visa?
So I will repeat what I have said, which is the same advice that has always been shared with me directly from consular officers, is that if you have been refused a visa previously, when you go to a future visa appointment, that something about your situation needs to be different. So if when they ask you questions or something within your application should be different. When you were denied for a visa previously, or when you are denied for a visa officer will verbally, or they should have verbally provided a reason for your denial, as well as a denial letter. We recommend you look at that closely and have an understanding of why you were initially deemed ineligible for a visa, so that you are prepared and have thought about, and again, have a plan for how you can explain to the visa officer how your plans have changed or how your situation is different, and that you now meet the criteria to be approved for that visa. So I am not a visa officer. I can't guarantee whether they will approve or deny you. But my recommendation and advice is understand that denial letter that you were given, and be prepared to explain what has changed since that initial interview.
Okay, thank you. They said that this section 214B, like that one section they give to this. This is the unintentionally, this is student not return back the home country. Like this one, which one I understood from their paper.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so 214B often means that they might ask additional questions about your intent to return to your home country, right? Because the student visa is a non-immigrant visa. Sometimes it's funding plans. Yes, if you would like to reach out to our team, submit a ticket, I will drop to our immigration team. I will put the link in the chat. You can share some more details about your case, and our immigration team might be able to help you more specifically.
Okay, and with that, I know we're a bit over time. Thank you for all of the wonderful questions. I think we are going to proceed further with our next slides. Please note, we are happy to answer any remaining questions you have. In just a moment, our colleague Chris is going to review next steps and our contact information, email addresses through which you can reach us. So please feel free to email any remaining questions you may have. We're happy to assist. So Chris, next slide, please, and we'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Chelsea. So hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. I know we're a little bit over, but you all had such great questions. We understand the process is very intricate, and there's many individual cases. So as Samantha said, and as we said, we're happy to reach out about any individual cases. We'll get to our contact information a little bit at the end. I'll just close us out with a few additional things to go over. My name is Chris. I am the Professional Programs Assistant for our graduate programs at UMBC, specifically at the universities at Shady Grove. So I work closely with Chelsea to assist applicants or interested applicants such as yourselves get your application documents submitted on time and get those reviewed and get decision letters out to students as soon as possible and next steps from there. So I really help assist the whole process, specifically at the Shady Grove location. So regarding next steps, if you liked what you heard today and it just motivated you more, we encourage you to apply to your program of interest. And as Samantha said, the sooner the better. So as soon as you're able to, we really encourage you to submit your applications and your documents so that they can be reviewed on time and that the visa process goes smoothly. On the slide here, you see I've put our general international deadlines for both spring and fall, which is October 1st and May 1st, respectively. But please note that these deadlines are just general. Not every program follows these in particular, and that you should really check your program page specifically to find out when the exact deadline is. Some programs have different international deadlines. Some don't have specific international deadlines at all, and they're all just the domestic deadline. So really review to know when you need to be submitting your documents. So we would encourage you to, again, similarly to the deadlines, each program has its own unique application requirements and the documents that you are required to submit. The application process is all online at the link there. We encourage you to do as soon as possible and submit all your documents by the deadline so you're reviewed in a timely manner and get your admission letter as soon as possible. I know we've been over scholarship opportunities a little bit, but this is some more links for you to review after the fact. Again, you'll receive these slides afterwards to review the information we go over. In general, on the left here is opportunities that are available to all UMBC students. UMBC's scholarship site is called Scholarship Retriever. There's a link for it there, as well as our specifically our international link for some external opportunities for international students. And on the right is for Shady Grove students in particular, who also have access to the USG scholarship application. And you can see the spring priority deadline and the final deadline there. There's also one in the fall that is available to students every semester, and we encourage Shady Grove students to apply each semester because you could be eligible for several different application or scholarship applications, and you'll be reviewed for all of them if you submit the one scholarship application. At the bottom is also some of our third-party links to some additional opportunities that aren't directly monitored by UMBC, but are in partner with us, and we encourage you to check those out, including loans for STEM students and business students. We also encourage you to keep an eye out on some of our upcoming events. We'll be having a lot over the course of the fall for many of our programs. This is a general type of event, but we also have program specific events coming up that will focus on a variety of subjects. There'll be like speaker series, student highlights, things like that. We obviously have the links specifically for Catonsville events and Shady Grove events. So whichever campus you're interested in and the programs you're interested in, just keep an eye out. But most of them will be offered virtually, so international students like yourself can join without issue. And in particular, we are encouraging you all to save the date, although we don't have a specific date in mind yet for what we're calling our signature International Information Session for spring 2026. It is planned to be held in February, although the specific date is to be determined. This upcoming event will be formatted similarly to today's session, but will also include specific breakout sessions with our graduate program directors for a more content-rich experience about the curriculum of the programs and things of that nature. Everyone who's in attendance today will receive a dedicated email invite once the details for that event are finalized, and we encourage everyone to attend that event for more information. Again, it'll be more focused on the programs themselves and the specific information that they will cover.
Chris,
And
might I chime in for you really quick? I am the coordinator of that event, and as Chris said, it's a bit of an expanded portion of this event. So do not think, once you get the invitation that you're like, oh, I already attended the one in September. This one is going to be similar, but it's going to be an expanded version. And the biggest highlight, and when I say biggest, that we hear from students is that opportunity to speak directly. Many of you are asking in the chat box, who have asked earlier, about advisors, graduate directors. All of them will be in attendance for that event, and you'll get to meet them and chat with them directly during the event, as Chris stated, during the actual breakout session. So whatever academic interest you have that's involved in our division, you can select that as your chosen breakout session. And then once you're in the breakout session, you will speak directly with them and they'll be able to answer all of your questions. But the other reason I wanted to chime in, as Chris said, all of you that are here, as well as those that have RSVP but could not attend tonight, you are already added on the invitation list, and that invitation will come in January. So you don't have to email us and asking us or telling us you hadn't received it yet. We usually send those invitations about a month before the event to make sure that it's fresh in your mind. So again, the invitation for the February event will come to your email inbox in January. Again, historically, we always have the event in February. We just don't have the date solidified, but you will receive the invitation in January 2026. So just be on a lookout for that. As a brief reminder of what Chelsea has said as well, she put in the chat box, yes, each of you will receive not only a copy of this video recording, but a copy of the PowerPoint slides you're seeing on screen. You'll receive them within a week, 2 weeks at the most. It comes from our marketing division. It may come from our professionals at UMBC website, but you'll see it. So if you don't see it in your inbox no later than 2 weeks, make sure to check your spam. But again, so that will come within 1 or 2 weeks. The invitation for the February event will come in January. Thank you, Chris, for letting me come and jump in real quick.
Of course, thank you for that additional context, Stephanie. It's all very good to know. So finally, I know we're well over time, but I hope everyone has enjoyed having their questions answered and the additional information we can provide. For any additional questions about information that we weren't or were able to cover, we encourage you to contact us and we'll be happy to provide you for more information. The link at the top there is to our general contact us form, where you'll just be asked a few questions, your contact information, and you can fill out your question directly there, and someone will get back to you. And then at the bottom are our campus-specific general emails. On the left is professionals@umbc.edu, which is for our Catonsville programs. And on the right is sgprofessionalprograms@umbc.edu, which is for our Shady Grove programs, as well as our websites for each campus as well. So please feel free to reach out at any time to any of the contacts here, and we'll be happy to get back to you with additional information.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. And with that, we are going to go ahead and close our session. Again, thank you for attending, and we're looking forward to seeing many of you, hopefully at our February session, and in the interim, addressing any additional inquiries or questions you may have for us. So thank you so much for your time.